You heard. At the very top, a track from Merpire called Habit, and squeezed in the middle there, a track from Dyson, Stringer, and Chloa, called Running for the Feeling. I'm joined by one third of that act there. Liz Stringer joins me now. Hello, Liz. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you? This is a really novel way to do this.
Yeah. I was wondering if you've done something like this, given the way the last year has been. Have you done many live stream things?
Yes, yes.
You say with such a solemn tone.
But I wasn't like, I didn't do anything regularly. I just did like actually I live at the moment with my brother and his family, and we did like two gigs from my bedroom. And he was there to engineer, thankfully. He's not an engineer, but he learned. And that was good. And I did the odd thing. I mean, like everyone, I spent way more time than I would have liked in front of Zoom. But things are on the way up. So it's just I mean, I'm just really happy to see you, even if it's through a screen.
Look, it is nice, and it has been surprisingly. It filled a void more as a music lover more than I thought it would. The first time I sort of tuned into like a stream concert, I thought, well, this is going to be really, this isn't going to give me the same feeling of being at a gig, but there's something really nice about it. It has been one good thing to come out of it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think people adapted really fast, didn't they? Like things kind of sprang up really quickly as soon as it looked like we weren't going to be able to play gigs. And yeah, I actually played a gig last night in just a little kind of warm up gig. I say warm up because it's like I don't yet know whether I have a tour or not. We're just assuming that I do. Yeah, and it was really profound. We had played one other gig weirdly in Castlemaine a few months ago when things were a bit like more in the clear, and so that probably the second live show that I'd done in 18 months, which is bizarre for any musician,
Mm.
particularly one who plays a lot like I do. So yeah, but it was really, you know what? It was actually incredibly tiring in a really good way. Like it was energizing doing the gig, but then I came off and I was just knackered. Like A, I'm not match fit. B, I go to bed at 9 p.m. now. Really. And also, but someone pointed out to me, like, you also probably haven't been in a room of, however many people for a long time. And there's something about that. There's going to need to be some adjusting to, it's just so much stimulation, but it's so good. It's so
Mm.
good to be, it's like, this is how music really is felt, and all of the stuff that we've been doing in the meantime has been really great, but nothing can replace it, can it?
No, not at all. And I wonder, does that exhaustion, that sort of post adrenaline rush, is it similar to what you would have had when you first started playing and it was all very new to you?
Maybe, except I'm, 20 years older. So it's just compounded by that. But I think you just, I mean, I say match fit, but there really is a fitness or a kind of a metabolism pattern that your body gets used to as a performer, and that because it's been such a long time now, like 18 months is long enough to really replace those patterns of existence.
Mm.
So it's like my body is just going, oh my god, what is this? And it's like, well, I mean, you used to do this all the time, so I don't think it'll take long. I think I think I'll bounce back into shape pretty fast. But it's just all of the stimulation and um the energy of everyone, which in the moment is as I say, like beautifully energizing. But then after that, it's just like I was like a deflated balloon. After that,
Mm.
after the show. So yeah, it was very interesting.
Is it a strange come down after a some kind of streamed gig? Like you said, you did a few in the bedroom, from the bedroom,
Mm.
where then you just turn your camera off and you don't get to sort of go backstage and have, like talk to people or
Yeah, that was weird actually. And like we did it on YouTube, so I could see. I had the computer facing me, so I could see the chat.
mm.
And so because the chat, like I was seeing the chat slightly delayed or vice versa or whatever. So I didn't. It was a bit. I couldn't kind of engage so much, but it was such a visceral feeling of people being connected, you know, like I could see lots of people kind of chatting, and you know, we'd sold tickets online to these shows, so I sort of knew, like, I knew how many people were watching, I knew where they were roughly, and so when it was a real high, it was amazing. And this is sort of like deepest lockdown, like my brother and I had literally not spoken to another human being in face to face except each other and my brother's partner and my nephew. So it's like we were both really hyped up after it. Like it sort of took a minute to, like, even, yeah, we turned the thing off, and then I was getting texts from everyone. It was really exciting and such a nice, like, kind of, you know, punctuation of connection in what felt like such a soupy time, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the album First Time Really Feeling, which has been out for a few months now, and it was about 5 years since your last solo album. I mean, in the meantime, you know, you released the album with Dyson String at Claw, and you did a lot of live shows. And you've mentioned in other media the impact that sobriety played on this album. You're sitting there with a cup of tea now. Just like, I'm curious to know what role that played.
Well, it really changed the way that I lived profoundly. So I kind of, I mean, one of the things that that happened was that I decided to leave Melbourne. So I'd been spending a lot of time in Canada. I basically moved to Toronto, and then I made this record shortly after that. But it was really interesting that by that stage I was probably about 18 months into, you know, being off the booze, and it really affected the way that I write, and the way that I the way that I, again, kind of like metabolize feeling, you know. I suddenly had a lot of channels open within me that I just didn't have any access to before. So the album is very, by my standards, incredibly personal. I don't, you know, I mean, traditionally I've written a lot of first person stuff, but it's often about other people. And obviously, you know, there's parts of me in there by osmosis, and, you know, but really I was able to find more of a connection writing about other people than I was about myself, you know, and then suddenly a few gates were opened, and it was a surprising process, but really good, because I think I was a bit worried that, you know, it's like, oh, if you're not a drunk or a, you know, whatever, then you're not going to be a proper artist, or, you know, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, the whole rock star image.
Totally. And I was just I mean, just not, drinking didn't improve my output in any sense. So, yeah, I was writing more, and I was writing differently. So I think it's in this. I mean, it's still clearly my album for anyone that's listened to other stuff. It's like, it's not like it's a massive departure, but there is a difference. I felt, at least in writing it, that it's sort of, it goes to places and is able to stay in places that I just wasn't able to be in before. So yeah.
Did you feel more vulnerable writing this?
I don't know what, I was just, I mean, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by, you know, the title First Time Really Feeling really is just about, you know, experiencing the world in a completely unadulterated way, you know, and I just hadn't done that since I was a teenager, ever. So I was overwhelmed. I don't think I thought particularly hard about, you know, to be honest, that period sort of coincided with me coming to a bit of a crisis as far as being a musician. Being a touring, like a professional musician, I was very tired. I was very burnt out. You know, there were a lot of things that came to a head, and so I think I was just so like, I don't care. I'll probably never release this. I have to stop doing this. I'm going insane. Like, I was in a very tumultuous place with my mental health and what was happening was, it was like it was like being in an emotional sauna. I just had to sweat all of the toxins out, you know, and so this record are just some of those toxins. And some of that sweat.
Put that on your press release.
So yeah. I mean, to answer your question, it was a necessary part of what was happening with me. And so I didn't think like, oh, this is more vulnerable. I was just like, oh, I'm fucked. And by extension, everything I do is bad. And I don't know, I wasn't, it's hard to explain, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to ever release these songs. I didn't think further than what was right in front of me, which was a lot at the time. Yeah.
Well, whatever you want to call it, toxins or sweat or it has been, it's produced a wonderful, wonderful album. And I know that the Triple R listeners in particular have really lapped it up. So it's been great. And it'll be great that you can do shows again soon because you had to reschedule some recently.
Yeah, we rescheduled basically all of the album tour. So we're in fact waiting. Restrictions were eased today, but we're still waiting for word from the Croxton officially to see whether we can go ahead on Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty tense, that's a weird situation to be in, but I think everyone's pretty good at adapting and going with it. And if we have to postpone it because of restrictions, then that's what happens, but it's hard. It's like you sort of, I used this analogy on stage last night. It's sort of like you're warming up on the boundary with your jacket on, waiting to see if someone's going to take you off the bench. Yeah. And they might not. You might just be running up and down the boundary like a dickhead until the end of the match. But you've just got to be
hopeful. Yeah, you got to be ready. You got to be stretched and warmed up.
Totally. But I'm really hoping that we go ahead this weekend because I'm ready. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you look even more ready now with the guitar in your lap. So, why don't you play us some songs?
Sure. Just got the dog down here, by the way. I think you can see her little head. She won't let me have any personal space at all. So she's got her bed here, right next to my foot, which is nice. Okay. Okay. So this is a song called "Dangerous." Sorry, I'm going to turn that guitar off because it's sounding weird. This is the second single that we released, and it's got a beautiful video that I'm not in. And one of my great ambitions as a musician is to never be in my videos, so that this song helped me to achieve that. And it's a really beautifully made film by Dylan Corbett and some amazing actors. So I would recommend, if anyone's got 5 minutes spare, to check it out on YouTube. But yeah, this is one of those songs that isn't actually about me. This is about a couple that I met. It's written from the wife's perspective, and it's a story of redemption, I guess. 1 second, I'm just going to disappear. Hang on. I'm back. All right. Quite the whirlwind. Forgot the first word there. Let me just start that again. This is I'm ready. I'm ready to do gigs. Holy shit. Okay. Our love was quite the whirlwind. Married by the time I was 19. Living in a prefab out in Cremorne. The force of a fire front was raging in you. We fucked like we fought, ripped the flesh from the sinew. No greater fever between any two. And you'd say, darling, sometimes I feel dangerous. Darkness stretching, no light nowhere. Dangerous. Navy, got your Union tats and with your landless, your great thirst came back while your children grew up quiet in another room. You packed it in when I packed up the kids. Said you were terrified of all the things I told you that you did. You said you didn't understand the rage that could devour you. And you'd say, darling, sometimes it's dangerous. Darkness stretching, no light nowhere. Dangerous. When there's fighting in the factions, there's no decisions, just a set of reactions. We drove the camel-pelled country down the shimmering Hume to where your aunts rode trams in wisteria hue, and you said about hosing the tiles in your sticky soul. You weeded out those rotten roots from down in the marrow, taught the Union boys the power in the straight and the narrow. To them you were a father, a healer, a tower of force. Your own father you couldn't talk too easily, to say there's something in you and I'm terrified it might be me. So you grew up pushing it away. I'm so proud of you, and my love is a monster. Ain't like the door you threw. You were everything that belonged to you. Our kids will come round. I gotta find out for themselves. That darling, the truth is, sometimes it's dangerous. Darkness waiting, no light nowhere. Dangerous. There are floodlights hiding, waiting for us to do the deciding. There is hope under the heavy, high tide road. We're all walking over our brevity. There is bounty in the burden of freedom and never being certain. Dangerous. Dangerous.
It's very sad applause, isn't it, when it just comes from one person? But I had to do
I'd just
something.
rather if you didn't clap, actually.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair call, but I had to acknowledge it somehow.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You can keep rolling on in. I promise I won't clap after the next one.
Thank you. This one's called Little Fears, Little Loves. I was around my part of town, kicking up dust with my restless feet. A lot of time to think, even more time to drink, as I watch the autumn devour the heat. Little fears, little loves, it's never enough. Now I'm getting sick from this lukewarm blood. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. Sydney's on fire, so pretty it hurts my eyes. The jewel in our ever-rotting crown. I gotta get out Is that what it's about? If I stand on the edges, I ain't coming down. Gonna sail through the field, push up from the pier, and watch as the headlands open up. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. I was alone, never felt better though. I was hoping the conversation wouldn't end. Like a bird from above, you swept me up, and we hung on the thermal's wings that stretch. Gonna sail through the field, push up from the pier, and watch as the headlands open up. When we see who we are, every secret, every scar, it's only that moment that we'll feel love. Oh, watch the headlands open up. It's only that moment that we'll feel love. I was around, just kicking around town, cursing the chains of stability. Thanks for not. Thank you for not clapping. You just couldn't help yourself. Okay. This makes for scintillating radio, doesn't it, Mitch?
I can jump in if you want. It's just
No, I mean, who knows how long this could take? We're almost done. I have this I really like to write in different tunings because it's kind of fun. But the downside of that is this is what I spend a lot of my time doing on stage. So yeah.
Surely you've mastered the tuning and banter by now, though.
Oh look, no. No, because look, if I'm honest, no. Oh. Okay, I just wanted to announce live on air that we can in fact play this Friday and Saturday. So everyone that has a ticket to the Croxton, they're both sold out, but all the ticket holders, we are on.
Yay! Can I clap that? That's good.
Please. I don't care how pathetic that clap is. I've been waiting for that text all day. Thank you, Al. If you're watching.
How exciting.
That is amazing. Oh.
Well, that's pretty good tuning banter to get, isn't it?
The dog's now like, can you let me out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Well, I've put your bed in here, so you lie in it. Oh no, now I'm like really excited and chatty. Oh, sorry. This is not a kind of celebratory song at all, but I'm tuned now, so. Okay, this is a song called The Things That I Now Know. This is on the record as well. This is one up there with probably one of the oldest songs on this album. I am going to have to let the dog out because otherwise things are going to get bad. 1 second. Come on.
If you did just join us, you're listening to Out of the Patio on Triple R. Liz Stringer is just joining us live. You can catch it on Facebook, YouTube, and the Triple R website if you want to get a visual to go along with the oral. And she's about to play song number 3.
The perils of doing things at home. I've left the door open because, you know, in about 10 seconds she'll be back scratching at the door. Okay, here we go. Terra Nullius, my island, my despicable beast, an arch into the ocean, as your birth was blocked in breach, and in the ready wild, my body and my soul divide themselves between you and the blood that's in my bones. Oh, in the early winters there lay slicks upon the flat from the snow that split from mountains that would thud and puff and crack. The white bird screaming murder from the drifts of clouds and sparks, and nested in the tallest, thick with scent and dripping bark. Oh, in me, my spirit feels unease, a great nausea that ties my tongue and swells my chest, and aches and pulls and tugs. My instincts cannot reconcile the things that I now know. Those strong hands slapped away like children at a ball. Oh, will I ever know great knowledge? Is it even mine to take? I dreamt I saw an answer, and a child was its face. I'm sorry, and my children will be too, if I don't do any better with the blood that's in my bones. Oh, how are we going for time?
It's up to you, really. Got as much time as you need.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll play one more.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
If anyone just joined us on Triple R, listen to Liz Stringer performing live on Out in the Patio. Just
Tuning live. I'm just tuning live for 25 minutes.
This is the Liz Stringer tuning hour.
I'm not sure why you're talking over it.
I'm sorry.
My act.
First I clap, then I talk. I don't know how to do this anymore.
It's okay. Socializing's weird. I don't know how to play gigs. I just tune now and you just do golf claps at inappropriate moments.
Do it middle of the song, but no, that's okay. Next time I will.
Yeah. Try it out. It's a new world. I just want to say though, thank you sincerely to Triple R because, you know, it really, again, being so isolated like Melbourne was last year, everyone was so isolated, just makes it even more important, stuff like community radio, doesn't it? Like it really is. I was lucky that I was living with family, as I said, but you know, I had a few mates who were living on their own and, you know, just in lockdown for weeks and weeks, and plenty of people that are isolated, not just during pandemics, but all the time, who, you know, rely on this sort of stuff for connection. And I just think, you know, I just love you guys, and I think Melbourne is a much, much richer place for stations like this. So thank you very much for having me. It really means a lot, even though I have decided to tune through my performance.
Pleasure to have you, and thanks so much.
No worries. Okay, so this is a song called My History. This is the last track on the record, and it was a song that I brought in very late to the recording process and just said to the producer, whose name is Chris Stringer, weirdly, this is in Toronto, said to him, I've got this song, I don't know if it's any good. And so we recorded it. He really liked it, and I wasn't sure, but then it's just, you know, without being too much of a wanker about it, you know, sometimes songs just kind of happen and you catch up with them a bit later, and this is one of those. So this is very autobiographical. This is about my sort of formative years, I guess, and my burgeoning relationship with how to deal with stuff or not. So yeah, here we go. I wanna tell you about some of those nights. You say I never talk about my history. Close your eyes. Can you smell the rain on the reserve dripping through the pines? Melbourne, winter, end of the 90s. Me and my friends, my girls, my family. Our worlds were dark, we were each other's beauty. The ruff of the red school jumper on my arm, the catch of each drag sparking deep in my chest. We sat at tables made from crates in a garage. I'd only take half at a time, I was always too scared. That's when I found a friend to give me rest from the exhaustion. What do you mean there's something that can take this pain away? The club in the city we could never find again, marked by projected light out on the blue stone. Conspiratorial on leather, dirty speed in our veins, emerging into the watery light of the morning. The first tram shift change and the waiting for sleep under dunes with my friends, my girls, my family. Pitch black skies between villages out in the hood. -10, ice in the air, sickly hot in this three-door Audi. so high, rushing past the sparkles out on the snowy fields. The thud of the bass underneath my body, and a bed, not mine, not my boyfriend's. When he was out of my sight and I was out of my mind, I was dumb, but I wasn't bad. I was endlessly angry. I missed my mom and then I missed my dad. I kept pouring it in to fill me, and I'm afraid still as then of all the things that are in me. I am humbled by my history. We do what we can to feel loved, to feel safe, to feel wanted, and we fail, we get it wrong, we grab and we reach, we hurt the ones we love. I miss the oblivion sometimes like it's an old friend. Anger is sadness, control ends in madness. We all have it in us, we are everything at once. We do what we can to feel loved, to feel safe, to feel wanted, and we fail, we get it wrong, we grab and we reach, we hurt the ones we love. I miss the oblivion sometimes like it's an old friend. Anger is sadness, control ends in madness. We all have it in us, we are everything at once. We are all the same, 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 we are the same, we are all 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 the same, all the same, we are 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 all the same, all the same, we are 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 same, we are all the same, we are all the same, we are all the same.
Thank you very much, Liz Stringer. Wow. What a wonderful treat to have you here on that Triple R. And the visual element, it's not in person, but it's as good as we can get at the moment. So thanks so much for being so generous with your time.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone who's made this happen too. You're a rad team. Thank you.
And congrats on the news that the Croxton gigs will go ahead this weekend.
Yes, we made an application to the COVID virus and we have been accepted to finally play a show, to finally work and do my job. So that's very exciting. I cannot wait. So yeah.
Both are sold out. So sorry to anyone who wanted to get tickets, but good for those who already do have them. And do you have plans beyond that?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna head out on a solo tour in August. So there's dates on sale for that too. There's no Melbourne dates, but there's a few regional Victorian dates. And yeah, I think we also just got the go ahead to go to Adelaide next week, so that's good. So we're slowly we're ploughing through this album tour. So that'll be 3 shows in about 6 months. So that's no, it's good. I'm really pumped, and you just gotta take the opportunities while they're there, don't you? So the plan is to do a lot of touring between now and the end of the year, but we'll see what's possible and what isn't, and just continue to roll with it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Liz Stringer, thanks so much.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
And I will catch you next time.
Yeah. Growing